Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm filming a very exciting video. This is my November rankings video. I know it's late, but with Vlogmas, everything was so crazy. I never got around to filming this, so I thought better late than never. Hopefully you guys will still be excited to see some of the eyeshadow palettes I tried in the month of November and how they ranked up against each other. So if that's something you're interested in, just keep watching. If you guys are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Karen Harris. I like to film tan girl friendly makeup videos here on YouTube. If you guys are interested in ranking videos like this one, will I buy it, hauls, anti-hauls, I do all kinds of videos here on my channel. So I hope you will consider subscribing to my channel and turn on that post notification bell so you are alerted every time I post a new video. Without further blabbering, let's get into my November eyeshadow palette ranking video. So I started doing rankings every month on my channel this year, so it's very exciting. This is episode number 11. And of course, I'm going to do the same thing in January for December. So once I'm done with December rankings, I'm going to rank all my #1 palettes from 2020 in a video, so that's something to look forward to. I'm really excited to film that because I've already started making my list of the ones I ranked in the months ahead, but we'll see what my #1 palette will be in December. Ooh, the suspense! Who will it be? Who will rank #1 in December, and who will win my rankings of 2020? That is going to be a tough day for me because you guys know I hate narrowing things down. Anyway, today I have 12 eyeshadow palettes that I tried in the month of November, and I'm going to be ranking them from lowest to highest. So without further blabbering, let's get into it. I just want to provide one quick disclaimer. I tried a lot of really good eyeshadow palettes in November. So number 12 isn't the worst eyeshadow palette I've tried by any means. But since 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, up to 11 are so good, it's just basically ranking the best of the best of the best, okay? That's how I'm looking at this because even number 12 is a solid palette. Like, if you watch this video and the only palette you own is the 12th palette, you're still coming out on top. So I just want to provide that disclaimer. So in 12th place is the Child palette by ColourPop. And this is a cute palette. Of course, everybody went nuts for the Child on the packaging, and this was their collaboration with Star Wars. I feel like if you're going to collab with a brand like Star Wars, it's going to be a given that this palette is going to be like a crazy top seller. So I think this is finally in stock on the ColourPop website. If it is available, I will link it down below in case you guys want to shop it. So the reason this one is ranking low is, you guys know I love green eyeshadow palettes, so the competition when it comes to my grungy green palettes is pretty high. And in December, I tried a grungy green palette that is like the queen of all grungy green palettes. It's the creme de la creme of grungy green, so I'm very excited to show that in a video. Spoiler alert, you've probably already seen it on my channel, but I'm excited to feature that in my December rankings. So this palette is nice, but it just doesn't really like seal the deal for me. As far as this color story, I feel like I have better versions of the grungy greens in my collection, but I love the packaging, and I think this was a really fun collaboration for ColourPop in 2020. Number 11 is this little guy from Fenty Beauty. This is the Snap Shadow in number 9. I think number 10 is going to be in my December rankings as well. But so in the month of November, I tried the wine shade, and this is what it looks like. This is really cute. I love the size of these, and the eyeshadow quality is really nice as well. So if you guys like tiny palettes like this, I would highly recommend checking this out from Fenty Beauty. Okay, in 10th place is the Warm Neutrals palette from Sigma Beauty. Now, this is a really beautiful neutral palette, but the reason I'm ranking it lower in my lineup is because it's a neutral palette. It's very everyday. It's very basic in my eyeshadow palette collection. That doesn't mean it's a bad eyeshadow palette collection. It's just not one that really knocks my socks off. I do have some other palettes from Sigma that are neutrally, but they're still beautiful palettes and ones that I will continue to reach for time and time again. Whereas this one, I feel like I have so many times over in my collection that I might not reach for this one over some other neutral palettes in my collection. So I'm ranking this at number 10. In 9th place is another neutral palette. This is the Nabla Side by Side palette. There's nothing wrong with it by any means. And I feel like Nabla is one of those brands in 2020 that really shone. And I think it's going to continue developing new product categories into 2021. So I'm so excited to see what else they come out with. I love that they partnered with Trend Mood this year, and they also are sold at Ulta, so you don't have to buy from overseas if you don't want to. This is a stellar neutral palette. It is great for every day, but I think you can definitely glam this palette up too with some of the more interesting gray tone shades in this palette. Now in 8th place is another neutral palette with a pop of blue, and that is the Eternal Eclipse palette by Lunar Beauty. Now I really like this. I think the packaging is stellar. I was very excited to see Manny's latest palette. I don't love this palette that much because I feel like I'm spoiled when it comes to Manny. I always feel like he has something a little bit interesting. Even though he does things that have been done before, he really puts his spin on it. And this is like one of those palettes where I was like, oh, like I think my expectations in my head were built up really high. I feel like the eye look I have on today, I've done with this palette when I first got it, because I wore this on Thanksgiving when I filmed my first impression. And I feel like I did a very similar eye look. This eye look, if you want to see what's on my eyes, everything is going to be in the description box. I'm going to keep you in suspense. But yeah, I like this. It's good quality. It's the same stuff we're used to with Manny, but I just feel like I wasn't as blown away by this palette as, for example, the Moonspell or the Strawberry Dreams palette. Okay, in 7th place, of course, is my BH Cosmetics palette. This is such a beauty. I picked this up after hearing my friends Heather and Angie rave about it. And I was like, fine, I'll try the BH palette. So I did. And it's beautiful. Oh my gosh, I was able to create such beautiful holiday looks with this palette. This red shade was spectacular. I'm so excited. I still want to play with this more. I feel like I definitely want to get some use out of it. But this was such a hit palette from BH. I know that a lot of people have been commenting that they've seen this one on sale on the BH website. So if it is still available on sale, I will remember to link it for you guys so you can score it on a good deal. But there's 30 eyeshadows in here. There's some shimmers, there's some mattes, and I think there's a pressed glitter in here as well. But they are so easy to use, and a stellar holiday palette from BH Cosmetics. I feel like I could still use this even in the spring, and I can definitely see myself reaching for this next fall. Okay, in 6th place is this beautiful Velvet Dusk palette from Lethal Cosmetics. This was sent to me, and I do have a code if you want to save some money with Lethal Cosmetics. I feel like the blue-green eyeshadow palettes were really popular towards the end of the year, and I'm not mad about it. I'm thinking of the Triochrome palette as well as the Melt Beetlejuice palette. So I love that color story, a little bit of green, a little bit of purple, and I think you can definitely see it in this one with a mix of some neutral tones as well. This is a beautiful palette. They also came out with some really pretty gel liners with this collection. So I was really happy to receive this and play with this, another palette that I want to use more, and it's absolutely stunning. Okay, so the next two palettes are 4 and 5, and honestly, you could interchange these. I haven't quite made up my mind about which one I prefer, but it is the Made by Mitchell palettes. I should rank them a little bit lower just because of their hideous customer service. But apart from that, I think the color stories are really fun. So this is the Head in the Clouds palette, and it is huge. I did see that he was doing a 40% off his website sale. So I will link that for you guys in case you're curious or you want to try out his brand. These eyeshadows definitely remind me of the Beauty Bay eyeshadow palettes, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, except the Beauty Bay eyeshadows are like 1/4 the price of the Made by Mitchell ones. But you know what? If I had a brand, I'd probably want to charge as much as I could. So I'm not going to blame the guy for doing that. But this is such a fun color story. I just feel like his palettes were so unique and really brought something different to the market. So I really like this one. And then the other one is called Feet on the Ground, and this is the more green themed palette. I feel like this palette is a lot more neutral than you would think. The packaging definitely kind of tricks your eye into thinking that this is like a really big green eyeshadow palette. But realistically, I think it has more of a mix of neutrals than you would even realize. But again, I think these are really fun palettes, and I think I'm going to be playing with these in 2021 as well, because I feel like you can create so many beautiful looks with these palettes. Okay guys, top 3 palettes. guess? Can you guess? Can you guess what they are? Okay, so in third place, I'm going to give it to the Natasha Denona Trio Chrome palette. I feel like if this palette didn't have these beautiful multi-chrome metallics in them, I would have ranked this palette a lot lower. I am a big fan of the Natasha Denona matte shades, but I feel like this palette could have used a few more deepening up shades. That's the only thing I wish this palette had more of. Now, if you follow Natasha Denona on Instagram, she provides so much inspiration for her eyeshadow palettes. That's one thing I really like about the brand, is that if you aren't as comfortable coming up with like color stories and stuff, you can just go on her Instagram page and she'll show you so many different ways that you can work her product and combine things and really make beautiful eyeshadow looks. So I love that about the brand. And I really like this palette. Again, I just wish it had like one more really deep purple shade, maybe a really nice neutral shade that was deeper too, because I love to put a deeper color in my outer corner. I can definitely make this palette work. If I could give one critique, I would say I wish it had some deepening up shades. Okay, in second place, I decided to show you guys Amy's one because mine is still unused, but my friend Amy Loves Makeup let me borrow her Natasha Denona 28 eyeshadow palette, and I used this and it was so beautiful that I actually ended up purchasing my own of this in her Black Friday sale because she had two basically for the price of one. So I'm very excited to own this myself. But this is one of those palettes. It's been around for a long time. I don't even think this gets talked about that much on YouTube. It's definitely been on my list of older eyeshadow palettes I've always wanted, but honestly, I never ever thought I could afford these myself. My husband did buy me the eyeshadow palettes and I'm so grateful. It was so sweet of him. December is my birthday month, so he spoils me a lot, and I was so glad I was able to get a sale on these. So I definitely plan on doing some videos with this. Let me know what you guys would like to see. I have the blue and the green palette now, but Amy gave me just this one and it was so fun to do that collaboration with her. And I think this is a beautiful palette. Probably not for somebody that is just doing YouTube and wants palettes to review because of the high price tag. But if you guys are really into those colors and you just want one fabulous blue purple eyeshadow palette, I could see you totally being able to justify that purchase. In number one for the month of November, I picked the most basic bitch eyeshadow palette ever. And you guys are gonna laugh. And I think a lot of you are going to be surprised. I think I surprised myself by picking this one, but hear me out. Okay, this is going to be like a Neutral Lover's Dream palette. It's so nice. This eyeshadow palette is like the sweatpants of eyeshadow palettes. I don't think anyone should be afraid of wearing every color of the rainbow on their eyes, but we all know that certain colors can be more flattering on certain skin tones, certain undertones and things like that, and I feel like that's what this palette is for. It's for people that don't want to wear a ton of color but want something really flattering, and that's why I think I want to call this palette like the sweatpants of eyeshadow palettes, because you're always going to be comfortable in it. You don't need a whole lot to dress it up and look good, so it's a really just solid palette. It's a workhorse palette, and it's going to be basic for a lot of people out there, including myself. But if I'm going to have a basic bitch palette, this is going to be it. And I really like it. I think it has some really beautiful, interesting shades. I know Slippery, she's like the stepsister that nobody wants to acknowledge. But other than her, this is a solid palette. So I'm ranking this number one. I don't know. I feel like you guys are going to judge me on ranking it number one, but I think it's a solid palette. And I thought it would be a fun pick for the fall time and the holiday season. So if you guys have the Naughty Palette by Huda, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching this ranking video. I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you guys in my next video soon. Bye!